O'Brien is 30 seconds.
Minister, as you'll be aware, the credit union movement for a number of years now have been advocating using its €10 billion or so in assets through investment in social goods for over 5 years now, and particularly in the area of social housing. And it's a policy that I and my party would absolutely support. I raised this with you in September this year, and I've had to put this question down again is to ask you whether the special purpose vehicle which has been proposed and approved by the Central Bank in February of last year is actually now open to accept funds from the credit union sector. Have any of those funds actually been received? Have those funds been invested in social and indeed or affordable housing?
Minister, 2 minutes.
Thanks, Oscar Cola. Again, Deputy, as you'll be aware, as a government we're very committed to this as well. And it was in Rebuilding Ireland as an action that we would work with the Central Bank and the Department of Finance to make this an option, which was completed. Work was completed over a year ago, February 18. The Central Bank made the recommendation how the credit unions could invest their funding and available funding into the social housing sector. That's been allowed for as well, and work since that has been funded to try to develop the mechanism to make that happen as well. So, supported by funding assistance from our Department's Innovation Fund, work has been undertaken by the Irish Council for Social Housing to support 6 of the larger approved housing bodies to access private finance. This work has been undertaken by the ICSH in 3 phases, the first 2 of which are designed to test the market interest in investing in social housing, and the appetite among the AHBs for private finance have been completed. While the ICSH had hoped to complete the final phase of the work, focused on the restructuring of the special purpose vehicles, by the late autumn last year, this work remains ongoing. And again, we had this discussion probably in late autumn last year, and we said it was nearly complete at that stage as well. I understand that one of the issues which has given rise to the delay in concluding the work is the need to take account of other private finance arrangements and vehicles that certain AHBs have put in place in parallel. 3 individuals approved housing bodies have been successful in accessing private finance from financial institutions to deliver new social housing. These financial institutions have their own specific requirements for lending and investing. One of the institutions involved included a requirement that the AHB concerned establish its own special purpose vehicle, while the other 2 arrangements did not seek the establishment of such a vehicle, working instead through bilateral loan agreements with the AHBs. I expect that the ICSH will have concluded phase 3 of the work by the end of Q1 this year, and I certainly hope so, because like yourself, we would like to see the credit union money that is available to be invested in social housing where it gives good value and where it can benefit projects as well. And again, just to be very, very clear, when we discussed this last autumn as well, I made it clear that one of the credit union sectors were ready and standing ready and have a vehicle ready for investment to happen and are available to do so as well, and are working. They've been engaging with the AHB sector and making them available to invest money as well.
Supplementary.
I thank you for the clarification, because that is the clarification that was actually needed. That's a different response than you gave in the 27th of September. No, effectively, I checked the record if I were you as well. You effectively said that the work was completed and you were ready to launch the SPV at that stage. That's a different answer than you've given in the answer of the 27th of September. It was nearly put back on the credit union sector at the time. You were nearly apportioning blame to them for not actually seeking to enter the SPV and to move forward. So that's a very different response than the response that you actually gave on the 27th of September this year. And I welcome that clarification, because that is a clarification, and I take it that this is the up-to-date and the correct version of where we're at, not the version that you gave me in this House on the 27th of September. So could I ask you in supplementary, when will the project be completed? When will it be launched? How much of it will be used? And will the credit union, under its central bank rules, be eligible to invest in this specific SPV?
Back to what I said last year, because I don't have the exact word in front of me, but I was very clear. We're not launching the special purpose vehicle. We can't do that. It's not our job to do that. We've helped the sector develop the special purpose vehicle sector. We've given advice to the Innovation Fund, but up to that sector. What I very clearly said was, one part of that sector, one of the credit union movements, have an SPV ready to go. That's what I said last year. That's what I said again. And if you want to know their name, they're called CUDA. You can contact them yourself. The representative body will tell you all about it as well. They are ready and able and have an SPV ready for investment as well. And to be very clear, that's what I said last autumn, and I'm very happy to repeat that again, because they are open for business and would like to invest some of their money through the credit from their membership into social housing. The work then, the SPV being designed by the ICSH is being worked on. They had hoped to complete it last autumn. It should be completed in this quarter and will be available for credit unions as well in general. But to be very clear, I was very clear last year. One of the credit union movements, CUDA, are ready and able and want to invest. You can check the record if you think I'm yes.
I certainly will, because I wrote to your colleague Minister Murphy just at the turn of the new year, seeking clarification on exactly where that was, and I've listed a number of questions that need to be answered. Could I put it to you to clear up any of this confusion that's there? Because obviously the position that you here today have outlined is being contradicted by others.
What I said. I've said
You don't have to say anything. Actually, you don't. The reality of it is, could I? Sorry, Make your point. Sorry, I'm trying to make my point. I've been interrupted by the minister. Look, I can, because it's true. I would.
Hold on, Deputy, please. We'll start the clock again.
Okay.
1 minute. He is entitled to make a point, and you're entitled to answer it. But hold on, no, wait a minute. Minister English, I'm surprised at you that doesn't have more respect for the chair.
Chair, with respect.
Minister, if I have to stand, and it's sad I have to do in question time, the member or any member has a right to make the point. You will have a right to answer, and please don't interject. And I'm only complying with the rules of the House. Now, I would ask you...
Well, that's fine, okay.
Or if you do, I'll move on to the next question. And I'm always very reasonable, but I'd ask you in future to watch the clock as well.
All I'm trying to do to seek here is answers and to get clarification on where it's at. The reality of it is where we are now is not 1 cent of credit union money has been invested in social housing. This was something, as you said, was in Rebuilding Ireland, in the programme for government. It was also mentioned in the confidence and supply document as well, and I want to see it delivered. I think there's most people in the House here want to see a new stream of funding that will help to build Minister Murphy's social homes and to be able to ramp that up. That's what we want. So we need clarification. That's why I wrote to the Minister just in the new year, asking a series of questions. And I think to be helpful on this, and not in any way, shape or form to try to get you excited again, is really to see, well, maybe would you meet with the credit union sector and the League of Credit Unions to actually clarify to them face to face of where you see this process at, because I think we all want it delivered. I certainly want to see this delivered. I want to see this model of funding for social homes delivered. Fianna Fáil wants to see it delivered, but there are many unanswered questions here, and it does require clarification.
1 minute.
Again, Lasson-Carla will be very happy to meet with the sector, because we want to see their money invested, and it can't be any clearer than that. It's in black and white Rebuilding Ireland. We want this to happen. We've worked very hard to make it happen. I'm very clear what I said here last autumn. It should be happening. There's money to be invested there, and there is mechanisms there already designed. By one part of the credit union movement, an SPV is ready to go. And I made it very clear here. I made an appeal to approved housing bodies. If they want to use that money, it is there to engage with that sector. There's another model being designed then in conjunction with the ICSH, which we as a department, as a government, we can't do. We can't design for the credit union sector. They have to design their own. But that work has been ongoing, and it had not completed last autumn. It is still not complete. They expect to complete it in this quarter. That's one process. There is another process. I'm very, very clear on this. It is ready. And I wish you wouldn't repeatedly say that I gave the wrong impression last year. I said last year, because I'm very clear, because I'm speaking to the sector. There's mechanisms there to draw down credit union money. I would encourage that they be used. And I'd be very happy to meet them, because we've met them before to help them through this process, and we do it again.
Next question.